Good girl. On your bed. Go on then, on your bed. Oh.
Hello, everyone. Good.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Oksana.
Hi.
Just bribing the dog.
Yeah, I have dog and cat now. Sleeping behind.
They look beautifully relaxed.
Let's see for how long it is.
Yeah. Look at this. She knows full well that if she just sits there and stares at me,
Yeah,
eventually I'll give in.
That's the dog. Never been fed, you know. He's
Oh.
always look at me like, I've never been fed today.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's exactly the same. She's as soon as my other half comes in, she looks at him as if saying, she's just left me alone on my own all day. Okay.
Mine is just 52 kilo, never been fed. It's crazy.
Hello, Madeline,
Hello.
everyone.
Hi,
Good to see you
everyone. Hi,
again.
hi, hi. Good to see you.
Hi, everyone.
We'll just give some of the others a bit of a chance to join us before we start.
All right.
I'm not able to go through any of the expected slides. I don't know. After office, I don't have time. By the time I reach home at 6 o'clock. When to study?
Hey, not to worry. Yeah, no problem, Anisha. You know, it's a quick turnaround of between sessions, isn't it? So that's okay. You know, you're here, and that is the most important thing.
Thank you. But I will try to read as much during the weekend, at least.
That's probably the best idea if you can catch up during the weekend.
So we won't be having any class this weekend, right?
Not with me, you haven't. I don't think you have got any classes this weekend, no.
Good.
The Thursday will be the last session, yes, for this week.
Thursday will be the last session for this week. Yeah, I don't think I've got your full timetable, but I know you've got. I think you start the next unit in middle of February, maybe.
Okay.
Yes, as per the calendar, it's February 25th. We don't have any class before February 25th.
Oh, right, okay. Lovely. You got a little while then.
So it means we will have an submission in between. Do we?
No.
Okay. We will just
Really?
You've got no submission. You've got no submission from me, but you will need to do work between now and then because you'll do the learning plan, but it's not a submission as such.
I managed to
find the learning plan you can't get wrong because it's your evaluation.
Okay. Thank you.
I managed to find everything what you've been talking yesterday, except the one link where I want a meeting with you. Oh,
okay. That should be on the first page. The link should be on the first page of the content for this unit. But I can make sure if it's there. I'll drop it into the chat anyway, and then you've got it.
Madeline, I received an email that the third session with you would be on Thursday and not Wednesday. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure where it ever came from that it was on Wednesday. It's all in my head. It's always been on Thursday.
All right.
But if you can't make it, that's fine, because it's the first of the topic sessions. So I think, as I said the other day, it's there will be other learners there. We're looking at learning. So brilliant. If you're there, fabulous, and we can get stuck in. But if you can't make it, there will be another learning one in 4 months' time that you can jump on.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, good evening, everyone. This is
Good
Abdul
evening.
Majid. It is nice meeting you all, and I didn't get the chance to join in the first 2 sessions. So really excited to begin our journey.
Fabulous. Okay. Well, lovely to hear you. So you didn't make it to the induction either?
No, but I sent an email to the one who sent me the invitation initially, and I was lucky in which I was offered to retake the session. So I just sent an email. They said, okay, you can take it whenever it's suitable for me. So that should be fine.
Okay, yeah, that's great. There's been a lot covered in those first 2 sessions. So I would suggest that you have a catch up with Jonathan as soon as possible, just to go through what you've missed so far, and
Yeah.
to catch up on kind of the overall program.
I will certainly do that. Thank you.
Great. Okay. I'm just going to, I think we're more or less all here. No, there must be more of us than this. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Okay, I will do my standard apologies in advance for either squirrel attacks, next door neighbours interrupting dog. Yeah, I knew it was coming. I'm just going to let the dog out, and I will be back. I will never get burgled. That's what I tell myself when she's barking like that. I will never get burgled. This is a good thing. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Lovely to see you again today. And it probably feels like a bit of a whirlwind from yesterday's session, and then having, no doubt you've all been working today, and then back again online. I do appreciate how hard it is to switch your brain from being at work to then being back online and learning. I've done it myself. I've done plenty of study when I've been working full time, and I do know how hard it is and how challenging it is. So I really appreciate it, that you're here, and that hopefully you all have just taken a moment to, close down the emails, shut off that work bit of you, and be fully present in these sessions, because it yeah, as I say, I appreciate how hard it is, but you will reap the rewards. Okay, so today I want to pick up from where we left off yesterday, which is looking again at the learning plan in a little bit more detail, and actually working through some of that, and getting some of it completed today. But before I do that, I just want to continue looking through the tasks for this unit, and discussing what the other 2 tasks are. So we talked about it yesterday in terms of 3 tasks. The first is the starting point, that the self-evaluation and learning plan, and then there's the big task, which is the learning and developing all the way through, but keeping a journal and writing your portfolio notes. And then there's the one that you submit, the summative task at the end. So I'll go through that 2 and 3 first of all. Okay, so let's bring up the enhanced study guide. You just before I start, has everybody been able to access the enhanced study guide?
Yes, yes.
Great. Yeah, I've got lots of nods. Tatiana's not here. I know she had some challenges accessing that, but I'm sure I can pick up with her, follow up with her if she's not been able to. Okay, so I will open up then the enhanced study plan and also I can jump between the two. Here we are. So the workbook and the enhanced study plan. I've been scrolling through them myself. So in terms of the workbook and what's in the workbook, the learning plan is what we're going to carry on with today. But further down, after all of the learning plans, so one for each assessment criteria, so we go down a long way, we come to then task 2, the journal, okay? And the journal is somewhere for you to capture your learning activities. So I don't mind what format you keep this in. I really don't care if you prefer to keep it in an Excel spreadsheet, you want to keep it in a notebook, however you want to keep it, but I need you to keep something which is a journal of what you've done, why you did it, what you learned from it, and how you're going to use this. Okay, so how it links to the professional map or the assessment criteria. Okay, the reason for this is that you will be surprised at how much you're already doing as part of your everyday working life. And if you capture it somewhere, trust me, we can use it in your assignment. I will be able to help you weave that into your assignment. Okay, and this is about, really, if you think about this, this is a master's level qualification for CIPD for your professional body. This is about you capturing your CPD in exactly the same way that, you know, if you were an airline pilot, you've got to have a certain number of air miles logged in your journal for the year to say, yeah, I'm still safe and well, and I've done a certain number of these types of landings and these types of takeoffs. If you're a doctor and you're a surgeon, you've got to have a certain number of surgeries per year. Actually, as a people professional, you've got to demonstrate you've got CPD every year. So this is what this is for. How you structure it's up to you, but the template is there for you to use if that works for you. So what I've included there, what dates you did it, so if you've got specific dates, what did you do? What was the activity that you completed? Why did you do it? Now, for some of you, what the why will be because it's part of my organisational policies. That's fine. You don't have to make something else up, but it might be that it was about the assignment. It might be that it was research for one of your other CIPD units. So if, for example, you are completing the unit on pay and reward, and you attend those workshops, which you will, put them in there. They're CPD. So all of the sessions that you cover, that you do within your program, are all part of your CPD. But also, if you then go away and attend a webinar on total reward planning, then that needs to go in there. If you go to a meeting in your workplace, which is about equality and diversity, that goes in there. Anything that you know links to any of these topics can go in there. What did you learn? How will you use this learning in your everyday practice? What are you going to do as a result of it? And then how does this link to your profession map, the CIPD profession map? Okay, so as a reminder, when we're talking about this unit, we're really thinking about these core behaviours, okay? Ethical practice, professional courage, valuing people, blah, blah, blah. These are the ones that we're thinking about, yeah. So, should be able to link to one of those core behaviours within the profession map, and as such, it will link to an assessment criteria, and it might link to 2 or 3. Dog's barking again. One moment, please. Come on, in come. Sorry about that. it might lead to 2 or 3. Okay, so if you went to a session which was on equality, diversity and inclusion policies, actually it's going to be around, yes, it's going to be around ethical practice, but it might actually be more to do with decision making in your case, because you are now going to put together a proposal on the back, off the back of it. Does that make sense as to why you're doing it, what the structure is, each of those columns? Any questions?
Yes, it does make sense, and please correct me if I'm mistaken. So this table will help me, I mean, to understand, to recap, to capture everything we discuss, all the knowledge that I receive in a daily basis, right?
Yeah, Abdul Majid, if I can pronounce that correctly.
Yeah, you can call me Majid. Yeah.
Majid, thank you. Yes, it does, but this is specifically related to the assessment for this unit. So it's not broadly about capturing everything. This is specifically, this is a task as part of the assessment for this unit. So I think probably, Majid, what we will need to do is have a separate catch up on what was missed yesterday.
Okay.
Because we covered quite a lot yesterday in terms of what the unit is about and how the assessments are structured.
Okay, or I will easily ask Mazen Al-Harbi because he's carrying the family name, so he's considered as a cousin.
Okay. I'll leave it between you then. No,
Yeah,
I'm here to help.
you.
I'm here to help, but we might be with. We just have to have a separate
Don't-
catch up if that's okay, Majid.
Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me.
Okay.
Yeah, continue.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you.
may I say something, Madeline? So would
Please
it be, do we have it within each, I would say, section or module that we will have the same journal, or it's going to be in specific for the first one?
This isn't really the first one.
Okay.
So this is one of the units, and this
Okay.
is a unit that runs all the way through your program.
Okay.
This is for this unit.
Okay, so this is limited to the unit, because I was thinking that will also help in capturing the progress. The reflection will support a lot of the reflection and the whole journey, you know, development, where we will do our assessment pre and after. So if you could follow this step, then that would help to recognize, you know, the development along the journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Nala. But this is what the whole unit is about.
Gotcha.
This unit is for capturing that journey.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's why this journal is in this unit, is because yes, you are going to learn loads across the whole program. And actually, if you don't capture it somewhere and reflect on it somewhere and then continue with your CPD, actually it's just a qualification. And we know this is not just a qualification. This is about change. This whole program is actually about becoming better people, professionals, and that's going to involve reflection, self-development, self-awareness. So yes, you're absolutely right, Nala. Within this unit, everything that you're doing in terms of your learning, your CPD, your self-discovery across all of the other units, which is why this unit starts now at the beginning and doesn't finish until you've done everything. And you submit when you've done everything else. So all of the other units will flow alongside.
Thanks. Yeah, good.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. So that's task 2A. Capture everything. Everything is useful. Everything can be used. Even if you think, oh well, I did my performance review with my manager. Brilliant. What did you talk about? What did you agree? What did you learn? What feedback did you get? It all goes in there. Oh, I had a really difficult day today because I had to have a really challenging conversation with that person because they're going to have to go on to performance review, and they met me in the canteen and it was really uncomfortable. Brilliant. Put it in there. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a formal learning opportunity. You know, as I said yesterday, what's my core motto, win or learn. Everything is an opportunity for learning. So if you have a really bad day and you come home and you think, I hate my job, I want to quit. Okay, I'm sorry, but get it in there, get it in your journal. What went wrong? What made you feel uncomfortable? Why was it such a challenge? What have you learned from it? How are you going to use that learning? All goes in there. Okay. Hi, Mina.
Hi. I'm so sorry. I got stuck in a meeting and
No worries. I'm just opening the door for the dog again.
Okay.
It's -3 degrees here, and I'm now standing with the door open. That's okay. I've got like 7 layers on. Okay, so you get the picture. There is absolutely nothing that can't go in here because it's, well, I mean, you know, don't put in that you went out for dinner, but actually anything that's to do with your role, to do with your job, is all an opportunity for learning. And get it all in there, because we will be able to work it in. I am an expert at helping people see how what they've done, even if it's not necessarily what they wanted, the outcome isn't what they wanted, how that's a learning opportunity. If you think about, you know, if you get a refer on one of your assignments, and trust me, most of you will at some point because they're hard. If you get a refer and you have to redo some of your assignment, that is a learning opportunity, because you've got that rejection. So, okay, so what about the resilience element? How do you then come back from that and find the time? How do you manage your time personally? How are you going about finding the data that you need in order to make it evidence-based? All of those things link to some of the learning outcomes within this unit. Okay. So use it however you want. Use it in this PDF. It's an editable, I believe it's an editable PDF. So use it here, or transfer it into Word and use it in Word. Personally, I would stick it in an Excel spreadsheet, but that's just because I much prefer an Excel format. Whatever you want to do, draw it on the wall in Post-it notes. Just capture it. Okay. 2B. 2B is, this bit is your opportunity to be capturing things as we go, but probably more likely you will be taking a little bit of a pause every now and again, perhaps after our sessions. You know, I said we have our regular sessions, so I've got those 4 topics and I rotate them. So this Thursday is learning. After this Thursday's learning session, I would think that there will be learners who are on other units who will be able to complete more of their portfolio. And what this is it's a bit of a temperature check of where you're up to. And the idea is that once you've got all 15 assessment criteria complete with plenty of evidence, that you're getting towards being ready to submit. Okay, so you don't need to think about completing this yet, but in maybe after you've done each of the 4 topics, you want to have a little bit of a temperature check and see where you're up to. So I'll go through one of them and I'll talk about this one for learning because we're doing that on Thursday, so that's useful. So we will do our learning plan, which is how are we now at this level? What would we grade ourselves? After you've then done some of the other units, you've done some other CPD and work, you've engaged in a lot of the CIPD material, you've gone to some seminars, you've done some other workshops, and you've come to my workshop on learning. After that, I'd like you to go back to these portfolio notes and say, okay, where am I at now? So I originally said I was a 3. Am I a 7? Am I a 8? Or am I still at a 3? Have I made improvement? What did I do to improve generally? Okay, so not kind of the really specific details. Have you actually followed your plan? So we're going to write our learning plan. Did you follow your plan? So it might just be you put in there, I followed my plan. It might be, I learned by accident. I learned by doing. I'm an experiential learner. It might be that you had structured learning interventions. And then I want you to include at least one example using the STAR analogy. How are you familiar with using STAR? Situation, task, action, result. No? Okay. Let me
Miss Madeleine, sorry to interrupt. Can you
no problem.
Can you explain more about this?
About STAR or about this template particularly?
This template, only this template now.
This template, yes, of course I can. Okay, so we've done our learning plan. Okay, so this is our learning plan that we've completed. We're going to do that this week. Yeah, we are going to do that. You haven't done it yet. We're going to do that. Once that's done, you will be carrying on with your wonderful professional lives, and you will be using the journal to make sure that you capture all your CPD. When you have completed all 4 of the sessions with me, the learning sessions on ethics, making decisions, making an impact and learning, when you've done all 4 of those, you should be in a place to start completing these portfolio notes. So for each assessment criteria, you're going to check what your competence level is at. You're going to give a brief description of what you've done. So you're going to take a look at your journal and you're going to think, okay, what activities have I undertaken to get better at this thing? Have I done anything? Or have I just naturally got better because I know more about it? What have I done? Okay. And then you're going to provide me with an example. Now, the example is using STAR. So situation, task, action, result. Let me just switch my screen over. This is usually used within, or often used within, competency-based interviewing, but it's perfect for this unit. Perfect for this unit. The STAR model. What situation did you face? What specifically did you do, and what was your part in it? What action did they take? Task. What did they need to do? What did you need to achieve? Action. What did you actually do, and what was the result? And then also, what did you learn from it, and what would you do next? Okay. So let me give you an example.
A resolved example will be fine for us if we can see something resolved before as an example.
So, okay, if we think about one of the assessment criteria. So if I think about justify the assessment criteria 2, which is justify business improvements in relation to the promotion of fairness and transparency, employee voice, wellbeing, learning. So your STAR example might be the situation was you recognised that there was increasing levels of absenteeism within a particular area of the business. You were concerned about the well-being of those workers. Okay, so what was your task? Your task was to evaluate the absence records and to see whether or not there was any particular pattern in the types of absence that there was, and whether or not there was anything that, any interventions that needed to be made. What should, as a result of that, might be that actually you notice that a lot of people have been off with stress, sickness, mental health challenges. That is not related. It's not a physical illness. There is some sort of pattern there. And so the action is to raise awareness of that to the managers or the directors within that area of the business. The result may be that there is then an open discussion about business improvements in well-being for that area of the business. So it is one example of what you did. It is not a general discussion of what you know. And this whole unit is about specific examples of what you did, which is why you can't do it yet. Because
again, sorry, I will be asking many questions as I
no,
go.
please do, Mohammed. I love questions.
Okay, what I did as Muhammad, not what my organization did, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, what you did, what you personally did. Now, the example I just gave there is quite a strategic problem. Yeah, it's something where actually you've got to have a lot of access to data, everything else. It might be something that's much smaller than that. It might be that actually what you recognize in your particular area of the organization is that there's a lot of gossip. There's a lot of gossip that goes on, a lot of grapevine communication. And that actually what you recognize is that that's not helpful for organizational performance, because gossip isn't, because there's misinformation going around. So actually what you do is you make a proposal about changing the employee voice mechanisms within your area. You speak to your manager and you say, there's loads of gossip, and the way that we can stop that gossip is to improve employee voice. That is an example. That is an example where actually that's something that you can give a specific example of how you justify business improvements. Now, alongside that, you will have evidence which is theoretical, and that will come from the sessions that I deliver, but also the sessions that you have on all the rest of the program. Okay.
Ms. Madeline, again, the question is that if it is something already happened, historical, and now I want to reflect about it, is it fine, or should I talk about something that is currently going on?
Push yourself. Look, we've got a year to get this done. Do something new.
Okay, clear.
Mohammed, I will never know. I will never know whether or not it's something that's historical or something that's about to happen. But actually, haven't we got a brilliant opportunity over the next year together, collectively, to do some really good stuff in work and evidence it through this. So you might have a brilliant example, and if it is perfect, then yeah, sure, you can include it. But actually, think about what else you could do.
Yes.
I've just noticed the time and had a message through. We're just going to have a quick 10-minute pause for prayers. Yeah. Okay, fabulous. It's 34. See you at 44.
Madeline, I have a question. I'm not able to find that template in my student login.
Sorry?
The journal template which you were discussing before this one, where it is, I find the hub very confusing for me. And
okay. Let me, I'll show it you in Viewers Learner.
Yeah.
Okay, so Viewers Learner, content.
Yes.
Within this unit,
yes,
you have got the study guide and workbook. Launch that session, and it's there, the unit workbook.
One second, I'm in content, your launch, this person effectiveness. It is something else. I don't know, in my, if I'm launching the unit, it's coming as sessions. There is no study guide and workbook.
Okay, let me allow you to share your screen. If you share your screen and show me what you can see.
Yes. Am I the host now?
No, but you should be able to share.
Okay. Where should I?
Down the bottom of the share screen, you should be able to share.
This share screen, yes, sorry. Entire screen, share. Yeah, share window.
Just 2 minutes, Manisha, whilst you're finding that button, I'm going to go and throw my dog away. 1 minute.
Okay, okay, sure, sure.
Nelly. Nelly.
Entire screen, share.
Okay. Yeah, great. So if you go back to content. Oh. If you click on launch unit. Yeah, and then the next one up on the top right, the arrow, no, the other side, yeah. That's it, the top right one, the one that's pointing that way. That's it, yeah. Next activity. Okay, that is completely different to what I can see, isn't it?
And I have the same thing, by the way.
Oh, hi, Tatiana.
What Manisha is showing now, for me, the view is the same.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Manisha.
Sorry.
Can you give me, sorry, hi, Nala, yeah.
Yeah, if you went back to the content and then launch, and then you will have template. Through template, you will have these journals.
No, they are Word files.
I'm concerned that they are the old versions of the journals, because that is all old material that's there.
That's old, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very old.
This is what we have.
Okay, I'm just going to put myself on mute for a moment, if that's okay, and just make a quick phone call. Okay. Right, I've got someone on the case, so I will be able to update you before the end of our session. You're looking at, thank you very much. That was really useful, because actually, no wonder we'll get very confused if we've got looking at different cross purposes. The version that I am referring to, what I will do is I will put it into the chat again.
Can we get that form on email?
Sorry?
Can we get the template, the journal template, on email meanwhile?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just put the PDF straight into the chat now, and then you've got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Meanwhile, I will make sure that the team updates or does whatever it is they need to do.
Otherwise, we need to reach Marshall, right?
Marcel, or to be honest, it's Jonathan. It's Jonathan that I've just rung, and he will be able to update it.
Okay. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, I've just popped the unit workbook and the enhanced study plan into the chat, because I think that I'm not sure who's looking at the new version and who's looking at the old version, which is completely baffling from my point of view and rather confusing from yours, I'm sure. So I'll make sure I get that sorted. And I will make sure that once I've got that sorted, and I am absolutely content that you are looking at the right version, I will email you all and say, you are looking at the right version. Okay, so I'll log on, I'll somehow work out how I can log on as one of you, and then make sure that you're seeing what I think you're seeing, and then we can go from there. Okay, but that's it's good to know, at least I can fix it. Win or learn. Okay. So, where were we up to? We were up to talking about task 2B, which is the portfolio notes. So the portfolio notes, and I've just put the unit workbook into the chat so that you've all got it. The portfolio notes, the purpose of them is so that you can keep a running track of things, evidence that you've got. Now, it might seem like, well, I'm doing all of these things, I'm doing tons of things, and she only wants me to give one example. Yes, I do. Because for each assessment criteria, when it comes to your final submission, you've only got 750 words, which is not a lot. And what I want you to do is have so much wonderful, rich, detailed evidence and reflection that it demonstrates what well-rounded professional development gurus you are in terms of your own learning. What I don't want is 10 mediocre examples of, oh, well, I went to a meeting and I learned that thing, and I went to an event and I learned that. What I want is really deep, rich, powerful, transformational learning. So one example, one brilliant example. Okay, one detailed example. So the rationale behind the portfolio notes is that by the time you get to completion of those notes, you've done loads of learning, you've got loads of stuff in your journal. You could pick one of 10 examples, but you're picking your best example. And what will happen at the end of once you've completed doing that, let's just make that a little bit bigger. So when you've completed all 15 of these, so one for each assessment criteria, you've got 15 great examples, you'll send this to me and I'll say, yes, this is brilliant. Here are your strengths. Here's what I think is excellent. Here's some areas of development. And I will agree with you a submission window. And what that means is I will tell you which 6 out of the 15 you're going to focus on for your final submission. Okay? I won't pick the best. I will pick the ones that CIPD has told me that they're going to focus on in the next session. Okay, so CIPD tell me which 6 they're going to do in May, and then in July, and then in September. And I will look and go, yeah, I think you're ready for September. So as you're a September person, do these 6. If you're a May person, do those 6. Okay. Anyone got any questions on that as a process?
That is incredibly confusing.
Confusing, yeah.
Okay. What's confusing?
Just the numbers, May and September. When to do what?
Yeah. What you need to worry about for now is you need to have a benchmark of where you're at for 15 assessment criteria. You need to have a learning journal that covers all 15 assessment criteria. You need to have examples for all 15 assessment criteria. That's all you need to worry about right now.
But we have, because this topic or this subject will go throughout the year, right? It's not going to end. So we have a whole term, at least.
You have the whole program.
Yeah.
To work on this. There is no, you know, and think about some of these things to be able to demonstrate curiosity and passion for deep learning. So you probably are able to demonstrate curiosity and passion for learning now. Yeah, so you might already be at a 4. Think about when you've done your research project.
Okay.
So the other unit you have with me is the research project, where you are going to develop and put together a research proposal, do a literature review, and then do a piece of research and present your analysis, your findings and your analysis back to your business. Now, if that doesn't demonstrate curiosity and passion for deep learning, so you've already got an example of that, potentially. It might be that on the unit where you're looking at well-being at work, you find it so fascinating that you choose to do your research project on that, but you also start making some really impactful changes in your workplace. And you share that learning with other people, because other people perhaps don't know about it. So you will, for that, need to gather together a range of evidence. As a result of that, there might be some changes to policy. Well, guess what? You've probably covered 8, 10, and 11 assessment criteria.
So submission deadline speaking, on average, if we start now in the end of January, what would be the earliest time that we can submit it and the latest time?
If you went full steam ahead and decided that you wanted to do the learning session this Thursday, and then the next one, so it'll be February, March, April, and then we're into Ramadan, Eid. I mean, you could submit it in the summer, this summer. I don't know why you would, to be honest, because you've got all of your other units running alongside. And so you're not going to have gained the learning benefit from all of those other units. So I would suggest that you would probably want to submit this one after your last unit.
So, Madeleine, just one clarification from my side. So the learning journal is where am I today, going through a journey, and what happened after that journey as a, let's say, a content. Now, in terms of the 15 criteria that you showed us, is it something that need to be aside with the other modules that we are going through, or it could be something out of that scope where I believe that I'm in a state today, I've been through this journey, and this is the outcome of that journey. What would you recommend there, or what is right and wrong here?
Absolutely use everything from the modules that you're doing, the units that you're doing. But yes, from all of your professional life, any aspect of your professional life where you're doing something that you think contributes to these assessment criteria, add it in your journal. So if you're doing any other training, professional development, you're doing any coaching, mentoring, any area where you know that you are developing as a people professional, then pop it in your journal and we will find a way of using it as evidence.
Okay, so it's all about writing my own story. Where am I today? What have I done about it? And what's the outcome of it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
And
think about it. Sorry, Tatiana.
Sorry, the question is, in terms of the check-ins, as far as I understand, some form of check-ins with yourself are possible throughout the journey. Yeah. So I wanted to check what is the best way to do this. To me, intuitively, it feels like one check-in for self-assessment, which should happen soon, something in the middle of the way, and something before we pass. Does this sound like something that is good to do, or?
That sounds absolutely lovely. So I would absolutely agree. What we have is we've got this period of time now, and what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the self-assessment, the learning plan in a minute, when we've got through all of our questions and we're comfortable. I would suggest that once you've completed that learning plan, you book in for a sort of one-to-one session with me so that we can look at it together. And then you will have check-in points for each of these regular update meetings. So this Thursday's one, which is on learning, the first session of that learning, session will be me talking through some of the things, some of the models that you might like to apply, some approaches to it. But then the rest of it, we will then look at actually individual people who say, I've got this example, is it good, is it bad, is it not? So it will be like a group check-in rather than a one-to-one, and you'll have those all the way through. And then you will have, when you think you've got enough evidence ready, and don't worry, I know where you're all up to on your learner journey. So, you know, I will also give you a little prod every now and again and say, should be getting towards completing your portfolio now. Once you get to that point, another check-in with me and say, I think I am ready for you to sign off on my portfolio, on my portfolio notes. And then when you have written your actual submission to be, your actual assessment to be submitted, you get another opportunity for some feedback from me as a draft. So as I said yesterday, Tatiana, you get sick of the sight of me, but little and often.
I feel like I want to see you as often as I can, Madeline, throughout this journey. As much time as I can get.
Well, I will. In fact, did I put it into the chat? Did I put my link? The link for my. Did I put it in there earlier on? No, I didn't. Let me do it now. Okay, is that link come up on there? Oh bother, it hasn't even come up. Let me let's just stop sharing my screen a moment while I find the link, and I will put it in there. I promise it's a really, this is a really, it feels like overwhelm at the moment, because it always does when you're starting something like this, where it's so completely new. but actually this should just tick alongside. You know, it's not something that you need to spend tons and tons of time on. It's just, it's like, I've often said, it's like making good compost, or it's like making a really good stew. Like you put your ingredients in, but you've just got to leave it to sit for a while. And actually it's much nicer the longer you leave it. And you add a bit, and you add a bit, and you add a bit, and it's never quite the same. You know, it's never quite the same recipe twice, but it's like that. You just sort of, you've got to leave it to sort of sit for a while. And it sinks.
You don't need to stir it? You
Sorry?
don't need to stir the pot? You
Need
don't
to
need
give
to
it a little
stir the
stir, a little taste. Oh yeah, then a bit more of that, a bit more of that. That's, you know, just, but it shouldn't be a pain. It's like it's just cooking in the corner. And then at the end you have to panic and start making dumplings and mash. No panicking. Right, let me find my link. I'm sorry, I got distracted there talking about food. Okay. We'll say this is that link that's there is a link for a 20-minute meeting. What I request is that you are very clear in when you book it what you want to talk about. So if you've got something specific, or you want some feedback on something, then say, this is what I want feedback on, here is the document. Or I want to come and talk to you specifically about the evidence I've got for making an impact. If you want me to read anything in advance, send it to me. That's no problem, I will. But if you turn up to a meeting without anything, I will likely just ask you to rebook it, because otherwise it's just, I can't give you the answers if I haven't got anything to give you feedback on.
I think there is a link to book a time with you in the Awkward portal. Is that correct?
In the what, sorry?
What do you call it? The
Volta's Vital Source bookshelf. Right?
On Awkward portal, the one that I don't know what it's called. Just a minute.
Learning Hub, yeah, it's there.
On the Learning Hub, yeah, same link.
The Learning Hub. Okay, Awkward
yeah, that's
Learning
there.
Hub. So I think there is a link where we can book a time with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same link.
Learning Hub.
On the hub where you're the one that says D2L, where you just had up on screen, Manisha, that's the Learning Hub.
Mm-hmm.
Subscriptions, select a course, class list, assignment, Awkward resources. No,
Okay.
We all received this email. The Awkward International Welcome to Advanced Diploma in Strategic People Management. You set up your password. You log in into Awkward International website, the Learning Hub.
Yeah, I have a login credential.
Yeah,
but then it has Awkward resources, content.
I think, Manisha, what you've got is an old version. For some reason, you've not got the updated version. So my link to book is on there, and what Mason is seeing is the updated version. So there is my link to book, and he can see the updated version. For some reason, Manisha, you're seeing the old version, the same as Tatiana. So some of you, for some reason, some of you are able to see the updated proper version, the one I want you to see, and some of you aren't.
We will be composting longer with the older version.
Sorry?
We will be composting longer with the older version.
You will be composting forever with the older version. Okay, right. Let's then make a start, shall we, on our learning plan. So, as a reminder, your learning plan is your review of where you're up to now, and it is about you setting yourself some development objectives for what you're going to do, and some thinking about how you might evaluate that. So this is what it looks like in whatever format you want it in. You can download that, stick it into Word if that's easier for you, that's no problem. So this is what it looks like, and you have one per assessment criteria. So there are 15 of these for you to do. Rather than us go through these without any guidance whatsoever, what I'm going to use is, within the enhanced study plan, at the end is Madeline's brain in the table. What I have completed for you within the study plan is some thoughts of theories, suggested areas for continuing professional development, some evidence that you might like to use, and some wider reading. This is your starting point, okay? This is your starting point for where you're currently at, but also what you might like to do in your development going forward. But it might also be what your development is long term. So this might go into your final submission as well. So let's pick one. Somebody pick a number between 1 and 15. Pick a number between 1 and 15.
5.
5. Thank you, Nala. Let's go for 5. Okay, so this is about outcomes. So to be able to, shall I make that a little bit bigger so we can see what it says? To be able to reflect on levels of self-awareness, self-management, and continuous self-improvement, leading to improved organisational success and career progression. Okay, so what we are looking at within this topic is, are you, and this is a question for you now, so thinking about in terms of your learning plan, do you know what your self-awareness levels are? Are you self-aware of your self-awareness? How many people know what Myers-Briggs type indicator, MBTI, they are?
Been there, done that.
Sorry?
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that? Great, okay. So if you know that, so for example, I'll talk about it from my point of view. I know I reflect on my own self-awareness, self-management, and continuous self-improvement. And the reason I know that I have a very high score in that is because I currently, as I think I mentioned yesterday, I'm currently qualifying to be a counsellor. In order to do that work, I have to have huge self-awareness. That doesn't mean I'm the finished article. I now know what I don't know. So for me, I'm probably around a 7, I would say. In terms of my personality, I know that I'm an ENTJ as Myers-Briggs. I know that I'm a shaper within Belbin's team roles. I know that I have a tendency to talk over people. I hyper-focus. My face explains my emotions, which means that I'm not terribly good at emotional regulation when I'm with certain people. I am excellent at big thinking, not so great at detail. So all of these things I know about myself. Okay, so I know that I am I'm an excellent leader. I'm an excellent leader of people and projects. I'm a terrible manager. I'm an awful manager because I'm unable to delegate, and I'm unable to, as I say, my emotional regulation is not terrific, which means that people see my frustration. So I can lead, but I can't manage. My self-awareness is pretty good. I want you all to be able to get to that point by using things like Myers-Briggs, other evaluation tools, 360s, looking at emotional intelligence in detail and working out where your areas for development are. Understanding how your personality, your way of working positively or negatively impacts on your organisational success and your career progression. There is a very, very good reason why I'm in a shed at the end of my garden, as opposed to sat in an office with lots of people. And it's because I'm much better working on my own at the end of the garden than I am in an office full of people. It fits my learning style, my working style.
Okay, you said, how can we do that? Self-awareness?
Okay. So when we have the session on on outcomes, it's a strange one. I will go through all of these models in more detail and give you pointers of where to go. Also, on the hub, you will have pointers of different places to go. So within each of those sessions, those core 4 sessions, I will go through a lot of the theory that helps you understand how and where you can improve. If for now you say, do you know what? I don't know any of that stuff about myself, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine, because most people don't. The reason that I do is because I have chosen, for good or for bad, or a long time ago, I chose to work in an area around that involves a lot of psychology, that involves a lot of knowing myself. I've done a lot of career coaching for other people. I've done a lot of supporting others in terms of understanding themselves. And the only way that you can do that is to know yourself first. You can't be a great coach or mentor unless you really know where you're coming from and what your own values are. So that's why I know that most people don't. You know, if you walk down the street or you go to the shopping mall and you say to people, what's your personality type? They might say, oh, well, I'm outgoing, or I'm an introvert. But beyond that, most people wouldn't know. So for all of these, not knowing or having a low score is not a bad thing. In fact, it's probably pretty good, because it means you've got room to grow. Okay, should we pick another number between 1 and 15?
9.
9.
2 people said 9. Wow.
That's a great coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so this falls within the personal effectiveness kind of area and learning. To be able to plan continuing professional development that involves both planned learning and reflection. Okay, so at the moment, within your current working life, do you actively plan your CPD?
Plan your?
Sorry?
I couldn't get the last word. In my workplace, I'm continuously planning my?
CPD, continuous professional development.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I need to answer that, right? So
yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Not planning, but since it's a different role, slightly different role for me. So yes, it has a lot of professional development for me.
Okay, great. So if you're actively involved and you know that you take real responsibility for your own professional development,
yeah.
and within that there is planned learning, and there is also reflective learning. So learning something, putting it into action, reflecting on how it went, changing it and trying again, reflective cycle. Then you're probably going to score yourself quite high. For many of us, what we do, and I know I'm guilty of this sometimes, is that we have a CPD plan that we write as part of our professional development review meeting each year. We say to our boss, oh, this year I'm going to do this, this and this. And then we get on with our year. And a year later, about a week before we go in for our professional development review meeting, we think, I've not done those things. And we quickly do them. And then we go in and say, oh, yeah. rather than having an ongoing activity of CPD. And the idea is that actually this is meaningful and that it is it happens throughout your year. There is a CPD assessment tool there that you will all want to look at, and you will be able to evaluate yourself and see how where are your areas of CPD. When we cover this on Thursday, so this is the learning one, when we cover this on Thursday, I will talk about reflective practice models, and I will talk about emotional intelligence and what those things mean, and how you can use different types of reflective practice models in order to get the most out of your CPD. But that number 9, if you think about it in terms of where you are now, that's for you to decide. But by the time you finished your learning, where will you be? You're going to have written a learning plan. You're going to have kept a learning journal with all of your CPD activity in it. You're going to have a portfolio of evidence of all your CPD. It's 9 sorted. You will be able to develop, you will be able to demonstrate that you plan CPD that has both learning and reflection. Okay.
So doing or enrolling or going through this CIPD level 7 itself is a CPD, can be
absolutely.
Yeah, can be written as a planned learning, and whatever the outcomes are can be mentioned here too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That would be an ideal example. That would be an ideal example of both planned learning and reflection. So the planned learning is that you're going to do the units. Yeah, that's the planned learning, and that will, by its very nature, that will help in terms of your planned learning for specialist knowledge and core knowledge. However, in addition, you will learn through the way that you have to do the assignments, the way that you have to manage your time, the way that you have to reflect on what you're learning and how you apply it. You will also demonstrate further passion for learning. It might be that you develop professional courage and influence. So you will reflect on what you're learning all the way through the program as well. So yes, the level 7 CIPD in itself covers planned learning and reflection. Okay, should we pick another number?
Four.
4. Is that 4? Yep. Okay. Number 4. It's like bingo. Okay, assess the impact of collaboration across cultural, geographical and professional boundaries, including the value of embracing difference. So this was probably quite a simple one, I would say, for you to be able to all evaluate where you are now. Do you work across cultural, geographical, professional boundaries? If not, then you're probably going to have a fairly low score here. This is about how much you are able to, what you need to be able to do at the end of this unit is assess the impact of this collaboration. So, for example, you might like to think about things like stakeholder theory or equality, diversity and inclusion. How much are you ensuring that different voices are being heard within your area of the business from other areas of the business? That might be that you're working in a central HR department, central HROD department, and actually you've no idea what anybody from manufacturing thinks about the policies. That might be the boundary. It might be that there is something geographic, which we might bring in something around Hofstede, so the culture framework. Some areas for CPD might be about how you can build trust or share experience and knowledge across boundaries. but part of this as well is about including the value of embracing difference. So if I think of an example, there might be return to work policies within your organisation which don't particularly value or support the views of those who are returning to work from, for example, maternity leave or long-term sickness absence. How are you working across professional boundaries to embrace difference and support those that are coming back from long-term leave, for example? And I would think of that as that's an area around improved access and CPD. Okay, so for this assessment criteria, your final submission might be a discussion around, actually, I've looked in the organisation, I talked about that STAR model, situation, task, action, results. I looked across the organisation, I realised that actually we're not embracing the ideas and the knowledge and experience of people who are returning to work from long-term sickness absence. It's particularly happening in this part of the organisation, which is across a particular professional boundary, and therefore I've put into play a policy which allows for ideas to be shared in a different way when people return. And that's had positive, both personal for the individual impacts, but also organisational positive impacts, because we're now valuing the ideas of everybody. Okay. Any others? Do you want to pick another one to go through, or do we want to just take a little breather and a pause? I'm going to take a little breather. When I hear that level of silence, it's always time for a little breather. Okay. What I would like you all to do is I would like you to spend the next half an hour or so opening up that learning plan, the learning plan template, and just doing as many of those assessment criteria as you can in terms of, let me just share my screen, explain what I mean. Give yourself a score, write yourself a couple of development objectives, and write yourself a couple of activities. And that's all you need to do. Okay? Because right now, there is no wrong answer. If you go on them and you think, I don't even know what that means, well, then put yourself as a 1. You know, I can read those words, but I have no idea what that means. That's fine. Room to grow. Okay? So what I would like you to do is just have a go at each of the assessment criteria. Okay? I think our time is better spent doing that for the next 40 minutes with you all doing that individually. What I will do is I will stay on the line for the next 40 minutes. So you're welcome to either stay in this call and have a go, or go away and come back onto the call if you want to, but I'll be here till 4 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock your time. And I would like you all also to book in a meeting with me for at some point in the next few weeks to go through your learning plan. Okay, so next 40 minutes, just see how much you can get done and use it to come back to me and ask questions and go, oh, I'm on number 7 and I don't know what it means. That's what I'm here for. But I also want you to book a meeting with me for the next couple of weeks so that we can take a look at where you're up to and we can have a one-to-one and I can get to know you a bit, because you know, yesterday and today was very much about me transmitting information, and actually in a one-to-one I can find out a little bit more about you so that we can make this a bit more tailored. Okay.
All right.
Great,
I will be, you're very
Okay.
welcome. I will be here. And if you want to jump off the call, that's fine. But if you want to stay on the call, that's also fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I will mute myself
Thank
so
you.
you don't hear me tapping away.
Thank you, Madeline.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
Right now, we have to grade ourselves only on the starting point on every assessment criteria. Okay.
Oh, I was muted. Yes, please.
Hello, Madeline. This is Tatiana. Can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
So, I am looking at ethics now, for example, and it happens that the initial ability that I have there is quite high due to the nature of my former work. And when I look at the learning plan, I see that, you know, there is attending workshops, reading this, reading that. But I know that this would not be the most beneficial thing for me to do because I have done this about 50 times at this point.
Yeah.
Can learning plan include like embedding ethical principles into performance evaluation in my organization? Like it's not really learning, but it's more like how do I apply what I already know in the new environment?
That's a perfect example, Tatiana. Yes, absolutely. If you know that actually, is it the on the first one, the ethical standpoints of youth practice? Yeah. So actually, if you know you've done a lot of that, if we look on this one, for example, I've got beeping at me. If we look on here, what you can see is that on the suggested areas for CPD, it might be increasing, or in your case, it's not necessarily increasing awareness. It might be implementation of speaking up mechanisms or human rights in challenges or whatever. So in your case, actually, if you already know a lot of this stuff and you've got loads of examples of actually, well, like, yeah, this is kind of my day job type thing, that's no problem. The next bit might be how you support other people to do that in the organisation, or how you embed, as you say, embed those practices within performance.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, lovely.
Magdalene?
Hi, Mason.
Silly question.
Yes,
I
hit me.
am unable to type anything on this PDF version. What's the alternative?
The alternative is you should be able to download it and change it into a Word document, or I can do that for you.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, hang on 1 second. And as if by magic, there you are.
All right, here we go.
Okay, Word
you.
documents in the chat.
Thank
No
you,
problem.
appreciate it.
Can I ask a question?
Hi, Mina. Yeah, hit me.
Okay. I don't know if I'm right or maybe I'm mistaken, but somehow I feel some of the criteria it's related to each other, or one answer can be written in both criteria. Like, for example, I feel the ethics and integrity, maybe I can answer with the same question, with the same answer.
Sorry, Mina. I crackled out in the middle of that. I couldn't hear you very well.
Okay. I'm saying some of the criteria or the assessments may be related somehow to each other.
Yes.
I mean, the first one is ethics, right? And for example, the third one is integrity. I feel that my answer can apply to both.
Yeah, absolutely. So, remember when I said yesterday, these aren't standalone things because we don't do standalone learning and standalone ethics. They're all interlinked. So some of the examples or some of the rationale for why you're at a certain level in one area will exactly apply in another area, which is it's the whole rounded individual. So yeah, you will have some examples or some rationale that might apply to multiple ones, and that's absolutely fine. In the same way that when you're gathering your evidence and when you're completing your journal, you'll do an activity and it won't just match one assessment criteria, it might match 3 or 4 assessment criteria, because actually, the piece of learning that you've done fits in with lots of different areas, and that's absolutely fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tatiana. As for everybody else who's still here, if you're still here, I'm going to sign off in a couple of minutes. I've just followed up on the issue with the Learner Hub and think we've got a resolution to that. So you can expect an email from me to confirm when that's all resolved. But otherwise, I will see you Thursday, I hope, for those that are able to attend, and see you in one-to-ones as and when you book in. So.
Okay. Thank you, Madeline.
Very
So we
welcome.
don't need to send any separate email to Jonathan for the old version?
No, we're on it. It should all be resolved in the next couple of hours, but I will make sure that you are all emailed when it is.
Thank
We
you
know
so
what the
much.
problem is. We know what the problem is now, so at least we can make sure it's sorted.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too. See you on
Bye.
Thursday.
See you
Bye-bye.
Thursday. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Oksana. Bye.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.